Order, please. The Honourable the Member for Halifax Citadel on an introduction.
Speaker, with your indulgence, I'd like to note the presence in the West Gallery of a very special person, her first appearance in this House, my daughter Kate.
The Honourable the Government House Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there are two other outstanding items that I'd ask the indulgence of the House for its consideration. I would ask that, with the unanimous consent of the House, to go to the consideration for second reading of private and local bills for second reading.
Is it agreed? All those in favour? Against? The Honourable the Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will you please call Bill 46, the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition Commission Act?
Bill number 46. The Honourable the Minister of Service, Nova Scotia and Municipal Relations.
How'd you get your way anyway? Jeez, that's pretty good.
Mr. Speaker, I move second reading of Bill 46, the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition Act.
Is the House ready for the question? All those in favour signify by saying aye. Against? Motion is
Bill
carried.
46, entitled an Act to amend Chapter 69 of the Acts of 1992, the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition Commission Act.
The Honourable the Government House Leader.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will you please call Bill number 61, St. Mary's University Act 1970?
The Honourable the Member for Halifax Citadel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to move second reading of Bill 61, an act to amend the St. Mary's University Act 1970.
Is the House ready for the question? All those in favour signify by saying aye. Against? Motion is carried.
61, entitled an Act to amend Chapter 147 of the Acts of 1970, the St. Mary's University Act 1970.
The Honourable the Government House Leader.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I would hereby request the unanimous consent of the House to proceed with third reading of private and local bills.
Is it agreed? The Honourable the Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will you please call Bill number 46, the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition Commission Act?
Bill number 46. The Honourable the Minister of Service, Nova Scotia and Municipal Relations.
There is some, Mr. Speaker, some members of my bench are asking me to speak at great length, but I'm going to simply move third reading of Bill number 46, the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition Commission Act.
Is the House ready for the question? All those in favour signify by saying aye. Against? Motion is carried.
Bill 46, entitled an Act to amend Chapter 69 of the Acts of 1992, the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition Commission Act.
Order that the bill do pass. Order that the titles be as read by the clerk. Order that the bill be engrossed. The Honourable the Government House Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time of year, you can pronounce it however you want. Mr. Speaker, would you please call Bill number 61, St. Mary's University Act?
Bill number 61, St. Mary's University Act. The Honourable the Member for Halifax Citadel.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I move third reading of Bill 61, may I introduce Chuck Bridges, the Vice President of External from St. Mary's University, who's in the gallery. Mr. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move third reading of Bill 61, an act to amend the St. Mary's University Act of 1970.
Is the House ready for the question? All in favour? Aye. Against? Motion is carried.
Bill 61, entitled an Act to amend Chapter 147 of the Acts of 1970, the St. Mary's University Act 1970.
Order that the bill do pass. Order that the title be as read by the clerk. Order that the bill be engrossed.
Your Honour, the Lieutenant Governor is without.
Let Her Honour enter.
Lieutenant Governor.
He's got a better chance of being a hurdle than the junior. I won't run again.
It's a good thing we moved it to 6:30 from 7.
Your Honor, the Lieutenant Governor. It is the wish of Her Honor, the Lieutenant Governor, that ladies and gentlemen be seated.
May it please your honor, the General Assembly of this province has at the present session passed certain bills to which, in the name and on behalf of the General Assembly, I respectfully request your honor's assent.
An act to amend Chapter 340 of the Revised Statutes, 1989, the Pension Benefits Act. An act to amend Chapter 12 of the Acts of 2002, the Smoke-Free Places Act. An act to amend Chapter 293 of the Revised Statutes, 1989, the Motor Vehicle Act. An act respecting the mandatory reporting of gunshot wounds. An act respecting civil forfeiture of property. An act to amend Chapter 154 of the Revised Statutes, 1989, the Evidence Act. An act to amend Chapter 31 of the Acts of 2000, the Probate Act. An act respecting provincial assets management and disposition. An act to amend Chapter 430 of the Revised Statutes, 1989, the Small Claims Court Act. An act to amend Chapter 214 of the Revised Statutes, 1989, the Human Rights Act. An act respecting class proceedings. An act respecting dental hygienists. An act to amend Chapter 208 of the Revised Statutes, 1989, the Hospitals Act. An act to amend Chapter 10 of the Acts of 1995-96, the Medical Act. An act to amend Chapter 260 of the Revised Statutes, 1989, the Liquor Control Act. An act to amend Chapter 92 of the Revised Statutes, 1989, the Consumer Protection Act. An act to amend Chapter 399 of the Revised Statutes, 1989, the Rental Property Conversion Act. An act to amend Chapter 18 of the Acts of 1998, the Municipal Government Act. An act to amend Chapter 300 of the Revised Statutes, 1989, the Municipal Elections Act. An act to amend Chapter 81 of the Revised Statutes, 1989, the Companies Act. An act to amend Chapter 69 of the Acts of 1992, the Nova Scotia Provincial Exhibition Commission Act. An act to amend Chapter 71 of the Revised Statutes, 1989, the Civil Service Collective Bargaining Act. An act to amend Chapter 10 of the Acts of 1995-96, the Education Act. An act to amend Chapter 4 of the Acts of 1994, the Credit Union Act. An act to amend Chapter 6 of the Acts of 1994-95, the Maintenance Enforcement Act. An act to amend Chapter 377 of the Revised Statutes, 1989, the Public Service Superannuation Act. An act to amend Chapter 147 of the Acts of 1970, the St. Mary's University Act, 1970. An act to amend Chapter 8 of the Act of 2004, the Oil Refineries and LNG Plants Municipal Taxation Act. An act respecting the designated day closing of retail businesses. An act respecting the Halifax Regional Water Commission. An act to establish a poverty reduction strategy working group in Nova Scotia. And an act to amend Chapter 1, 1992 supplement of the Revised Statutes 1989, the House of Assembly Act.
In Her Majesty's name, I assent to these bills.
I would ask that the members to stay standing and join together in the singing of O Canada.
We
Please be seated. The Honourable, the Leader of the Liberal Party, on an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to draw the attention of the House to the West Gallery, and I want to, and of course, it's a face that's familiar to all of us here, is Barbara Modi, who, and I want to first of all wish her a very Merry Christmas. But since I've been in this House, she's been at as many sessions as I have been, of course, as the communications person for the New Democratic Party, and this is her last session. And she's the only person that I know that can make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. But I want to thank her and her family for the commitment that she has made to public service and making all of our lives in the House interesting over the last number of years, and wish her well as she moves forward into her new career.
Do I have something else?
Just before I recognize the Premier, I would like to extend best wishes to each and every member of the House on behalf of my wife Shirley and our family, and hope that all of you have a good holiday season and a prosperous new year. The Honourable, the Premier.
Mr. Speaker, it is that time of year once again, and I can't help but think we are very close to the season as I look up at you and I think of what a jolly fellow you are. And, you know, I see the beard and I see the suit, and I can't help but have a warm heart thinking of the Christmas season. Mr. Speaker, it has been a...
I believe you might be out of order.
Yeah.
The Honourable, the Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to pass on my best wishes for all members for what has been not only a positive sitting, I believe, many positive bills from all sides of the House, but also a good year for Nova Scotia, a very good year for Nova Scotia, Mr. Speaker. And I'm a proud Nova Scotian, but I'm a proud Canadian as well. And I believe that we're very fortunate. There's 52 members in this House of Assembly, 52 individuals out of over 900 and some thousand Nova Scotians. And we are very fortunate to have the opportunity to represent the people of our constituencies and a great province. And for that, I'm thankful. And I'm looking forward to the year ahead, Mr. Speaker. No doubt we're in for a busy time for each and every one of us, for ourselves and our families. And I want to wish my best wishes to the Leader of the Official Opposition and his caucus, and also to the Leader of the Liberal Party and to his caucus, and to the members of my caucus as well, that they have safe holiday season, and that they have the very best of times in 2008. And Mr. Speaker, with that, I will say, and I've said this before, Nala Clea Lagas Bean Maur, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And with that, Mr. Speaker and members of the House of Assembly, I move that this General Assembly be adjourned to meet again at the call of the Speaker.
Is it agreed? Agreed. We stand adjourned.